mean, he was incredibly high up the table, and it's very, very unusual to see him not putting in a time. But yeah, these faster drivers are going to be right at the back of the grid, Adam. This is going to be a very, very interesting dice to the mix on this.
Yeah, Stalin Chapelevsky has not been out at all in qualifying, so I wonder if that could be a back of the grid penalty, possibly, for the Apex Racing driver. And yeah, he'll be starting at the back of the grid in where you don't really want to be, especially after the action we saw at Spa. He always kicks off in the midfield, Dave, and yeah, if you're Stalin Chapelevsky, you'll be trying to take things quite tentatively in the opening stages of the race, maybe even start from the pit lane.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I've just you just jogged my memory there, Adam, and it's that does make a lot of sense, because I do remember McFadden coming together with Ash Sutton at the end of one of the Spa races, and I'm pretty sure he got a back of grid for that. So that's exactly what's happened here. The 25 that we've had out on track, it could be that the other 15 have all had back of grid penalties, but we wait to see. I do believe that it looks like all the cars that will be qualifying are going through. I think that was Simon Landemore there getting a 208.652 to put him 25th and at least at the head of that pack. But I think we are pretty much done and dusted here in qualifying, Adam. Looking forward to the race now. And
good to hear that we have got sound back on the Apex stream. And yeah, if we haven't been coming through to you, Happy New Year everybody, and great to have you with us for the first race meeting of the year on Apex Racing TV for the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup. Adam Bapp here with Dave, Christie and Sam Kumo on the cameras. So we're getting ready to go down to the grid, just seeing if we've got anyone else setting times. Of course, we've got drivers that have got back of the grids, including, as Dave was saying, Stuart McFadden. We've got Roy Verke, who didn't set a time. Steve Richardson hasn't been out at all. Neither of Ramon Valseral. Has Peter Van Goor been out at all? I don't think he has either. Alex Malensky not setting a time in qualifying. Dan Hunt, who incidentally is the driver that provides the setup for everyone in here in the series. He hasn't set a time either. Joe McDonald is out on track. He hasn't set a time yet. Stalin Chapelevsky, as we were saying, not setting a time in qualifying. Lewis Bibby hasn't been out either. Neither has Jamie Ayres. And in fact, he's been out on track, but has had him 3 invalidated laps. Talk about bad luck there. Gavin Wakefield hasn't set a time either, and Dave White has put in a time 2:53.457. However, don't think that has been allowed. Some off tracks, but that's the end of qualifying. Let's run you through the grid. Let's head down to the grid then for the first race of the day. Ash Sutton starts on pole position. Second, Rob Hartley. Third, Alexander Lauritsen. Fourth, Diogo Melro. Fifth, Matt Webb. Sixth is Steve Hefford. Seventh, Ash Beard. Eighth, Brian Holmes. Ninth, Andy Shield. And 10th, Nathan Davis. The 3 winners from Spa, incidentally, all starting inside the top 8. 11th for Cesaro Rizzo. Laura Bond starting in 12th. Kip Stevens in 13th. 14th, Lee Deemer. Jason Flood in 15th. 16th, Dexter Cutts. Stephen Walker in 17th place, 18th Max Wright, Lorne Murray 19th, 20th Jason Greenfield, Colin Robinson starting in 21st place, Kevin Woods 22nd, 23rd Lee Barmer, Andy Brosens in 24th, Simon Landemore in 25th, and Michael Barry rounding out the cars at set times in 26th. Then the cars at inset times, Stalin Chapelevsky starting in 27th, then Ramon Valseral in 28th, Alex Malensky 29th, Dan Hunt in 30th, some big names here, Roy Verke in 31st, Joe McDonald in 32nd, Steve Richardson 33rd, David White in 34th, Jamie Ayres in 35th, Peter Van Gool in 36th, Stuart McFadden in 37th, Thorstein Helgeson in 38th, and then rounding out the grid it is Gavin Wakefield in 39th and Lewis Bibby starting at the back in 40th place. And here we go then, revs begin to rise, and the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup at Monza is go, and it's a fantastic start from the man who started second on the grid, Rob Hartley. He was fastest in practice, and he's got the best jump away from the line and looks like he's going to lead as we head towards Curva Grande. Some position changes going on already as well as the drivers all start to fan out, and we're going to see plenty of slipstreaming here, Dave, as we head towards Curva Grande.
Yep, thankfully everybody going through as well, and it looks like Ash Sutton's away to get mugged there. Brilliant start from Hartley, moving straight into the lead, and I think it could be that Sutton's way to get pushed down to third place, but no such luck. Sutton coming round the outside of Hartley, and it's all going to kick off surely coming into the chicane here.
Oh, on the brakes, and cars all over the place, and they somehow rescue it. One car's definitely all over the place there and hits one into the wall, and it's all kicking off here. Laura Bond's been turned around. She started inside the top 10. Kip Stevens, the one that got hit there going into the Della Roggia. We've got a car upside down into the gravel trap at the Curva della Roggia. Don't know who that was, but Ash Sutton was leading. Laura Bond's on her way. One car, Simon Landemore, he was probably the one that was rolling over. The front of his car is absolutely destroyed. But yeah, everyone hit the brakes, Dave, and it was just a chain reaction, and some big names involved there.
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was making earlier, Adam. You take that first chicane out and you stop that pile up into turn one, but you just delay it because obviously they build up the speed going through Curva Grande, and what an excellent recovery there from Ash Sutton. Managing to take first place back there from Hartley, but Hartley right on the tail of Sutton, and I honestly thought it was going to be curtains for Hartley there, but this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. And there's carnage breaking off behind Adam.
Yeah, Jason Flood might be one of them. He was definitely going down the order there. Oh, and it's all kicked off again just afterwards. There's a car off into the wall on the exit of Ascari. Cars scattering this way and that. That's Lee Barmer. What happened to Jason Flood? Because he was losing positions. I think he might have picked up a slowdown. I think he might have actually got... Yeah, he lost the car on his own. And yeah, problems for him as we come around to complete the first lap. Ash Sutton, though, it looks like he might be a sitting duck here as we come across the line. He's trying to move this way and that to stop the drivers from getting any positions, but Rob Hartley is getting a nice little push here, but off Alex Lauritsen. But who's this coming through the middle? It's Diogo
Melro. Now, Diogo Melro's absolutely missed the script there. Lauritsen and Hartley were bump drafting each other there, and Melro, being the teammate, I thought he was going to try and help out Sutton. What on earth happened there? Sutton's going to be absolutely furious with that.
That's quite a move there, and he got a fantastic run. And now Melro has the lead going into the Roggia, unless Ash Sutton's good on the brakes, which of course he is. Not able to get anything done there, though. You might be able to see in the background, we've got Stelin Chepelevsky in this nice gaggle of cars. He's up 17 positions from where he started outside the top 20, and he's already in the mix as Sutton takes the lead back, going into the first Lesmo here on lap 2 of the race. It is an 8-lap race here. 3 8-lap races at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza today, and Ash Sutton leading the way as we head towards Variante Ascari. Chepelevsky and Kip Stevens close together, and Nathan Davis, who is another Apex driver in that gaggle as well. Side by side here, Dave, between Steve Hefford and Ashley Beard.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but I'll tell you what, I cannot help but feel Diogo Melro has just reminded himself on which side his bread is buttered, because the way that he let Ashley Sutton move back over there, yeah, that definitely looked like somebody who was feeling very sorry for themselves indeed. But it looks like Lauritsen and Hartley are going to the left-hand side. Can they take third place, or can they take second even from Diogo?
Diogo Melro could be in for a mugging here. Rob Hartley and Lauritsen working together, it seems, and you can see in the background everyone's trying to do this tandem style of racing that we saw in NASCAR back in the day. And Ash Sutton's been able to make quite a little bit of a break here as we come across the line to start lap 3 of the race. Hartley on the outside, Diogo Melro on the inside. We're about to go 3 wide for the first time today here in the battle for the lead. Diogo Melro's going to be the piggy in the middle here, and I wonder how it's going to end for him. It goes back to 2 wide though, so he's able to cover off the attack of Rob Hartley. Lauritsen though could take second place and could take the lead going into Curva Grande, Dave, and I think he might have done.
Huge move there from Lauritsen on the inside of Curva Grande, and I'm wondering if there's an issue with Ash Sutton's car, because the closing speed that they've got from when they come out of the Parabolica along start-finish straight, they can catch Ash Sutton in an absolute heartbeat. But amazing move there for Lauritsen to take the lead from Sutton, and it's Diogo Melro in third place.
Lorne Murray is out of the race, him and Dexter Guts in the pit lane. I think it was a bit of contact through Curva Grande perhaps. Oh, it was Dexter Guts losing it, the Skittles car, losing it on his own. And I don't know what happened to Lorne Murray. Lorne Murray, I think, lost it afterwards. 2 separate incidents there. Lorne Murray was avoiding Dexter Guts got 2 wheels into the grass and went into the wall, so that is curtains for those two. But meanwhile, back at the front, Ash Sutton has returned to the lead. So much action unfolding here in this MX5 Cup race. Don't really know where to look. Melro looking up the inside of Lauritsen. So Lauritsen, who started the lap in the lead, back down to third he goes. And Melro and Sutton, the winners of the opening 2 races of the season at Spa, working well together here in the opening stages. But Dave, I don't really know whether you want to be the car in the lead, because by the time you get to Curva Grande, you end up losing it again.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. I mean, as they come up to the Parabolica here, and you see how that group of 4 cars has now become a group of 9 cars. Such is the tow that you get from this final corner here, but it looks like Sutton's lit the fuse. He's away. Lauritsen's going to try and move on to the inside of the Parabolica here. They're side by side between Melro and Lauritsen here for 2nd and 3rd place. Hartley is quite happy just sitting in the background behind him in 4th, but they're going to come up to the Curva Grande here, and I think Lauritsen's going to try and punt it up the inside.
Here we go, 202 kilometres per hour we're touching here, and Melro is going to take the lead away from Ash Sutton, so it's a repeat of the start of lap 2, and Lauritsen's going to with him here going into Curva Grande. Is Sutton going to be okay with that? I don't think he's got much choice in the matter here. Oh, and there's contact in the background. That was Nathan Davis, and he hits the Momo car of Steve Hefford. Into the gravel goes the Apex Racing car of Nathan Davis. He's able to get the car going again without collecting too much damage. But yeah, that was the first bit of contact we saw in the lead gaggle, Dave.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. That now brings the lead group down to 7 cars, but more importantly, Lauritsen takes the lead again as they're coming up to some back markers. Now, how is this going to play into the affair? Because Lauritsen has got a heck of a lot of pace here, but it does look like Sutton is having to sit behind Melro in 2nd place.
Looks like it was Steve Hefford that came off the worst for wear there. His car limping along, and Nathan Davis has continued in 15th place. But yeah, we have got all the way back to Andy Scheel in, which is 6th place. We've got 6 cars here battling away for what could be the lead of the race. Lauritsen leading the way, Melro 2nd. We've got Ash Sutton in 3rd, Rob Hartley 4th, Ashley Beard in 5th, championship leader. Andy Scheel in 6th, Dan Hunt up 21 spots in 7th. As here comes Diogo Melro back up the inside into the Parabolica. And this is probably where you want to get the move done on the final lap, because oh, that's close, and there's contact, a little bit of contact there, left rear to right front between Lauritsen and Melro, and that's allowed Sutton back through, Dave, going onto the front straight. And now here comes Ash Beard. He wants to take that away from... Oh, sorry, that's Hartley trying to get past Lauritsen as we come across the line onto lap 5, past the half-race distance mark now. And now we're going to get a triple tandem. I don't know how this is going to work. Sutton getting a push from the rear, and he's pushing Diogo Melro now, Dave. Oh no, this might not end well here. Into Curva Grande, it is now Hartley leading the race. Melro will try and hold it out around the outside of Curva Grande. Sutton was going to continue to push his colleague here. Who's going to be the latest on the brakes? This might not end well here, folks. Hard on the brakes we go, and it looks like Hartley might have the move done. Round the outside he goes, and Rob Hartley takes the lead. The man fastest in practice, started on the front row, had a good start. He is now leading the race here on lap 5 at Monza. So Sutton falling down to 2nd place. Melro 3rd, 4th Lauritsen, then Andy Scheel is in 5th, 6th Ash Beard, 7th is Stelin Chepelevsky, who's just got past Dan Hunt. Both of those two up 20 spots from their original starting position. Then we've got Matt Webb and Kip Stevens rounding out the top 10. Sutton versus Hartley here again, and Sutton has taken the lead back. Up the inside goes Melro, so they're back to 1-2 again. That didn't last long at all, that lead for Rob Hartley, and he might be under pressure from Lauritsen going into the final chicane. And I think we have lost Dave Christie. Yeah, we have. So we'll try and get Dave back in a moment, but Robert Hartley under pressure here from Alex Lauritsen. And Lauritsen might cut to the inside going into the Parabolica, but he might want to try and save his run for the front straight. Ash Sutton has a 0.7 of a second advantage over Diogo Melro. We'll see how much of that remains when we get to Curva Grande to start lap 6 of the race. 3 laps to go when we get to the line here at Monza. And the lap times we're doing 2:04.5 last time around for Sutton. He comes across the line now, does a 2:03.6, so a much better lap there from the BTCC race winner. The gap was 7/10 of a second out of the final hairpin. It is coming down to half a second. It's now down to 4/10 of a second. Melrose now under pressure from Hartley again. He might get followed by Alex Lauritsen here, so Melrose could be down another position. And look how much they close in on Ash Sutton just on that final quarter of the front straight. Sutton just loses out massively there, and Melrose now, who looked like was about to drop down to 4th place, might be about to take the lead here going into the Della Roggia chicane. This is very intriguing indeed here. Sutton leads the way, Melrose continues in 2nd, Lauritsen now in 3rd, Rob Hartley, who at this moment a lap ago was leading the race, and look at this, Matt Webb and Stelin Chapelewski now battling. Dave White's tumbling down the order, don't know why. Let's try and see what happened there to David White as I'm trying to find him on my screen. Oh my word, he's absolutely gone. Don't know what's happened to Dave White. He's been involved in a bit of contact with an Apex car, and it's Nathan Davis again. He was off in this exact spot a few laps ago, and Nathan Davis and Dave White, once the car starts rolling, it looks like it's got a vicious cycle there. And David White, I hope you bought a bag there, because yeah, I think you're going to be pretty sick once that car stops rolling. And I don't think you can even exit the car either. I think that's the problem. Once the car starts rolling, it just doesn't stop. But anyway, that was interesting. Ash Sutton leads then. When we get to line, we'll be on lap 7, 2 laps to go. Sutton, Stelin Chapelewski, sorry, side by side with Ash Beard here. So, sorry, it's Dan Hunt getting by Stelin Chapelewski. So Dan Hunt through into 7th place. Chapelewski down to 8th. Stevens now in 9th, but he's got Matt Webb trying to get around the outside of him. But let's check back in at the lead, because the slipstream is definitely going to be in full effect here. 2 laps to go, half a second between Melrose and Sutton, and that will get eaten up on this next part of the straight. Hartley getting by Lauritsen there. That's Hartley back up into the podium positions. Melrose closing in, closing. Sutton covers the inside line. I think it'll be very tough for Melrose to get anything done around the outside, but he's going to try, and now it's going to all be about the brakes going into the Della Roggia. 2x2 here at Monza. Melrose, is he going to lunge in there on Sutton? On the brakes they go now. Melrose won't have the line because Sutton goes around the outside and he's able to make the second part of the corner, but look at the run that Hartley got there on the exit. He's going to take surely 2nd place away from Melrose going into the first of the Lesmos. And he does. We'll see if Lauritsen can get by as well as Diogo Melrose goes out into the kitty litter, comes back on. And watch out for Andy Shield to try and get in the mix as well. And I think he might do here because Melrose got forced out wide by Lauritsen, and Andy Shield is going to take 4th place away from Diogo Melrose. Jim McFadden's tumbling down the order as well. He had been moving up the order nicely, but McFadden is in the gravel in the first of the Lesmos. No, sorry, he's in Curva Grande, so another car to get involved in issues at Curva Grande. Stuart McFadden in the Red Bull livery car, just looking back on the replay. Got a bit out of shape. He was side by side with Laura Bond, and he goes off spinning into the gravel and hits the tyre barrier as well. So McFadden is going to have to spend the last 1.5 laps limping back home. So he's in with a shot at a reverse grid position. Now we're starting the final lap of the race. What is going to happen here? It looks like it's going to be Ash Sutton v Rob Hartley, but don't count on it just being those two. We could have Lauritsen, Shield, Melrose all getting in the mix, and we'll bring you updates on the battle behind, which includes the likes of Dan Hunt, Stelin Chapelewski, Lewis Bibby and Max Wright as well. Down the front straight we go. Here comes Hartley for the lead. Who led the lap of the line, incidentally? That could be interesting. It was Sutton at the line by 1/10 of a second. Rob Hartley has the lead. Now Sutton's going to tuck in. He's going to get the slipstream now, and it's going to move to the inside here, going into the Curva Grande. Dave Christie, you're back for the final lap, and Sutton is up the inside.
Issues there, but what an absolutely thrilling climax to this race one here. Who's going to go and take this?
Here we go then into the Della Roggia. Stuart McFadden into the pits, so he wasn't able to carry on to the line there. Maybe a meatball flag for the Scotsman. But Sutton back to the lead. Rob Hartley falling down to second place. Don't rule out Hartley just yet. There are plenty of overtaking spots as off. In the background goes Ash Beard. Poor Ash Beard. Was the championship leader, but he is now in the wall. He will get going again, but he will now be down in 10th place. So it's not a bad finish for him, but it could have been possibly higher. Now out of the second Lesmo and towards Varianti Ascari. Rob Hartley right where he needs to be as Stalin Chepelevsky goes rally crossing in the background in the Mazda MX-5. Hartley looking to the inside. Sutton covers it off. That means Hartley's going to surely have to go to the outside, but he's staying there, giving Sutton a bit of a push. Going into the Varianti Ascari. Oh, and he gives him a nudge. Does Sutton make the corner? Yes, he does. And off! It is Lauritsen. He's on his roof. He's skating across the track. He makes it into the gravel trap, but that is him gone. Problems for Shield. Melrose off into the... almost hits the Armco barrier. He's going again. Drama here in the battle for the lead, and that only leaves Rob Hartley and Ash Sutton left. And I think Rob Hartley giving Sutton that shove going into the Ascari has cost him the race here, Dave. Out of the final corner Sutton goes. Checker flag's going to be in the air, and race 4 of the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup Series will go to Ash Sutton. He won race 1 at Spa 2 weeks ago, and he wins race 1 again here at Monza. Andy Shields going to get a surprise 3rd spot, with 4th place going to Stalin Chepelevsky, who started 27th on the grid. I lie, it was Dan Hunt that got the position at the line. Close margins there. Dan Hunt getting 4th place by 400ths of a second. Stalin Chepelevsky getting 5th place. Both of those two started 30th and 27th respectively. Wow, Dave, what a final lap. It all kicked off going into the Ascari chicane.
Yeah, and I thought they were being far too polite there. I was just holding my breath, Adam, waiting for it all to kick off, and it certainly did on that final lap. But Ash Sutton even showing what he's made of, showing that he can handle all that pressure, and Hartley, I've got to be honest, I mean, we were saying there he could have easily made the move and tried to go around the outside, but I think at that point he was quite happy to take 2nd place, and then with what kicked off behind him, that as a driver just solidifies your choice. It's better to finish the race than not at all.
Yeah, I was just looking back on the replay going into the Varianti Ascari there. Quarter panel between Melro and Andy Shield. Lauritsen. Believe it or not, Lauritsen still got a 9th place finish after that. And then the two of them, Shield and Melro, side by side through the end of the Ascari chicane. Andy Shield was able to continue on his way. Diogo Melro finished 8th place in the end. So those two, Lauritsen and Melro, it wasn't that bad for them in the end. And it was something that we saw at Spa the other week, that in this Mazda MX-5, even though the racing is close, we still got these well spread out packs during the race.
Yeah, that was one of the points we touched on just before the race, saying that it does spread out throughout the field, and it doesn't matter where you're watching, there's always action and high drama through the different little battles that are going on. And you know, you touched on it as well, but Chepelevsky, what an absolute monster effort to come all the way through from near enough the back of the grids to get a very good finish indeed.
Yeah, him and Dan Hunt working together, started outside the top 25 and managed to get a top 5 finish, both of them, Dan Hunt and Chepelevsky, in the end. Let's run you through the finishing order then. Ash Sutton takes the win, half a second in the end ahead of Rob Hartley. Andy Shield 9th to 3rd, so a good job from him in that opening race, but a mammoth effort by Dan Hunt and Chepelevsky to get 4th and 5th respectively. Matt Webb finishing in 6th, Kip Stevens finishing in 7th, Diogo Melro in 8th place after the contact with Andy Shield in the Varianti Ascari. He though quarter panelled Alexander Lauritsen, and Lauritsen was on his roof at one point but was able to get the car home in 9th place. Lewis Bibby started stone dead last in 40th and got 10th place. A fantastic job there. Ash Beard was off in the wall, the Della Roger at the start of the final lap, finished 11th. Peter Van Gool finishing in 12th, Max Wright 13th, Jason Flood in 14th, Gavin Wakefield 39th to 15th, Steve Walker finishing in 16th, 17th Colin Robinson, 18th Roy Verke, back of the grid penalty for him, was able to get rewarded with a top 20 finish there. 19th for Laura Bond, was problems for her on lap 1 of the race, but she was able to get back through the field. And Lee Deemer finishing in 20th, Simon Landemore finishing in 21st place, Steve Richardson 22nd, Steve Hefford managed to get home in 23rd place after getting in a bit of contact with Nathan Davis earlier on. Kevin Woods finishing 24th, Jamie Ayres in 25th, 26th Dexter Cutts, Lorne Murray finishing in 27th, Cesaro Rizzo 28th, Nathan Davis was off in Curva Grande at 2 different points during the race, but finished in 29th. Brian Holmes finishing in 30th, so he won race 3 at Spa, but race 1 here at Monza doesn't really provide much for him after starting inside the top 10. Lee Barmer finishing in 31st, 32nd for Michael Barry, 33rd for Andy Brosens, who was 1 lap down. 1 lap down also for Joe McDonald. Joe McFadden was involved in that contact at Curva Grande, finishing in 35th. Dave White in 36th place, somehow managed to stop the car from rolling and get the car home and finish 3 laps down. Jason Greenfield 7 laps down, and then the cars that didn't start, we had Roman Valserol in 38th. Alex Smolensky didn't start either and finished in 39th, and Thorstein Halgerson didn't start the race either, and they finished in 40th place. But it's time for the first reverse grid of 2017. We'll find out who's on the pole position for race 2, race 5 of the championship. So Samuli Kumo will spin the wheel for the first time this year, and we'll find out the magic number and who's going to be on pole position. Incidentally, that was Sutton's 2nd win of the season. It's 25, so 25 cars reversed. Jamie Ayres getting reversed onto pole position here. Kevin Woods in 2nd, Steve Hefford 3rd, Steve Richardson in 4th, and Simon Landemore in 5th. We're set for 2 more fantastic races here at Spa. So we're going to step aside for a few moments here on Apex Racing TV. Join us after the break, where we will be getting ready for the 2nd race of the evening. Join me, join Dave and Samuli Kumo. All 3 of us will be back after this break.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Truex in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it at a 4, who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Back to Apex Racing TV here at Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. This is the second race meeting of the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup. A fantastic first race there. We saw quite a big battle for the lead. Ash Sutton ended up on top there, taking the win from Rob Hartley, but it was all kicking off behind them. Andy Scheel in the end getting third after contact with Diogo Melro and Alex Lauritsen going into the Variante Ascari. Lauritsen ended up on his roof but was able to come home in 9th place. Diogo Melro got spun around by Andy Scheel on the exit of the Ascari chicane and managed to finish in 8th place. We've now got a reverse grid now for the second race of the evening, and 25 cars have been reversed there, so a nice lengthy reverse grid. And considering we had 40 cars for the first race of the day, it would be nice to see a topsy-turvy grid, and we'll wonder who comes out on top. And I'm back here with Dave Christie and Samuli Kumo, as always, on the cameras. Dave, are you there for a good first race? But with a 25-car reverse grid, we should be on for something even more special in the second race.
Special, maybe not the word I'd use for what we're about to see, but yeah, it's going to be interesting, we'll put it that way. We'll see the firebrand Ash Sutton delicately, like a little wallflower, making his way through the field. In no way am I making out that he's coming through like a sledgehammer, but certainly watch out for him. But yeah, it'll be fantastic, and do you know what? It's just so much fun, these second races, because they throw so much into the mix. They give some of the guys that are maybe a little bit further down the field a second chance, and you know, it just adds to the charm and the excitement of these races.
Yeah, we saw in race 1 Dan Hunter and Stelin Chapelewski, they were able to gain 21 spots by the time they got to the line. So with 25 cars reversed, I don't expect to see Ash Sutton possibly inside the top 5 by the end of the race. Of course, he's got to make sure that the drivers around him race cleanly, and he could easily be taken out, as we saw Nathan Davis do with some of the drivers as well. So yeah, watch out for that during the race, and it's going to be survival of the fittest by the end. And yeah, we're just about to head down to the grid here. 25 cars reversed, Dave. We probably will see Ash Sutton up inside the top 5 by the end, but what's it like racing in the midfield? You've really got to have your wits about you and probably not go for moves straight away. Just try and work your way through as calmly as you can.
Well, that's exactly it. However, the issue is a couple of them, right? Firstly, it depends on what stage of the race. If you're in the midfield in the start of the race, right, the only way you're going to survive it is either you overtake people and you get out of there, or you just be super careful. Once you're into the race itself and things start going and stretching out a bit, it's not so bad. But the first couple of laps, Adam, you need to be so careful, or you need to just don't care and just go for it.
Yeah, two different types of attack. We'll see which drivers use them in this second race. Jamie Ayres starts on the pole, Kevin Wood second, Steve Hefford in third, Steve Richardson in fourth, Simon Landemore in fifth, 6th Lee Deemer, 7th Laura Bond, 8th Roy Viverke, 9th Colin Robinson and 10th Steve Walker, Gavin Wakefield in 11th, 12th Jason Flood, 13th Max Wright, 14th Peter Van Gool, 15th for Ash Beard, 16th Lewis Bibby, 17th Diogo Melro, 18th Kip Stevens, 19th Matt Bunn, Stelin Chapelewski in 20th, Ash Sutton race 1 winner, starting in 24th place. This is going to be something to watch with intrigue, and we haven't got a man on the front row of the grid alongside Jamie Ayres, so no Kevin Woods. Here we go then, the lights are on, second race of the day at Monza. Let's go! And straight away, Steve Hefford fills the gap made by no second place man. And now we're on our way towards the Curva Grande once again. 2x2 behind them. It is Simon Landemore and Steve Richardson going at it. Cars starting to fan out this way and that again. And Steve Hefford looks like he's already taken the lead away from Jamie Ayres by the time we get to Curva Grande. So the slipstream is working in full effect already here. Hefford leads into Curva Grande, and now we're all going to go through this long right-hander. Are we going to get through without incident? We might have to start worrying about what comes up next. The run to Della Roggia. We saw a bit of contact here at the start, Dave. Let's see if we're going to have any now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a break into De La Roggia there. Nice move there from Steve Hefford, and a little bit too much of the curb there from Jamie Ayres. That's disappointing for him. He would have been happy to take the pole, but Steve Hefford has lit the fuse. He was really fast in qualifying and free practice, so Hefford is away, and I'm going to be very interested to see if he can get caught.
Rob Hartley involved in issues. The man who finished runner-up in race 1 has got damage to the front of his car and it's crabbing a bit, and that is not what he wanted there, and he's going to have to back to the pits. Max Wright was off in the gravel. Michael Barry was also off earlier on in the lap, so problems for some of those guys already. But going into the Ascari for the first time, it's Steve Hefford leading the way, followed by Jamie Ayres, and it's Simon Landemore in third, up 2 spots there from him. Roy Ververke up 4 spots, he's up to 4th. Lee Deemer 5th, then it's Steve Richardson, and look at all the chaos behind him as we head out of the Ascari chicane. There's Jason Flood there, Laura Bond. Ash Beard gaining a whole ton of positions on the exit of the Ascari chicane. He must have had a tremendous run, because he's up to 9th place now, up 6 positions. Make that up 7 positions going into the Parabolica at the end of the lap. Stunning start there from Ash Beard, and the championship leader after finishing inside the top 10. Dave, he's already cracked the top 10 and up to 8th place.
Yeah, great start there from him, and he needs it. One of the things we've been speaking about before the race started was his consistency through the races, but we're looking back up at the leaders just now. Jamie Ayres got a huge run on Steve Hefford here. They're side by side as they come up to Curva Grande. Has Jamie Ayres got the momentum to push him through? I think he has. He takes the inside line going into Curva Grande, and that caught Steve Hefford a little bit by surprise, because Hefford was away during lap 1 there. Hefford's going to tuck in to the slipstream of Jamie Ayres. They're coming side by side as they come down to De La Roggia here.
Hefford gets the lead but doesn't make the corner, and has to take a compromising line into the second part of De La Roggia. He should still hold on to the lead, but Hefford there missing his braking point by quite a bit. Look at all those cars in the background, my word. We've got Steve Richardson in the mix, we've got Lewis Bibby, we've got Matt Webb as well. Bibby up the inside, we've got Ash Sutton in the mix too. So watch out for these guys here working their way through the field. Ash Sutton, of course, won race 1, and we've got an Apex car there as well. And it's Stelian Shepelevsky. Sutton up 13 spots, make that 14. And Shepelevsky going past Steve Richardson on the exit of the second Lesmo. So Shepelevsky up into 12th place, Ash Sutton up to 11th, Ash Beard and Jason Flood also side by side. That is a position change there. That is Ash Beard through into 6th place. Peter Van Gool, Lewis Bibby and many others all battling away here. Diogo Melro working his way through the order. He is into 17th place. Looks like he's having to work back some positions he lost, but yeah, on the exit of the Ascari chicane. Oh, crash! It is Laura Bond and Peter Van Gool. What happened there between those two? Surely contact on the exit of the Ascari chicane. We'll try and get a replay of that for you. Let's see what happened. And it was Bond running out wide. And, oh, dear me. Don't know if you've seen that, Dave, but Peter Van Gool getting completely taken out by Laura Bond.
Yep, stranger things do happen here at Monza, Adam, and yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, we do speak to Laura, and it's definitely not intentional. We know that for a fact. It's just one of these things. The car gets away from you, and all hell breaks loose. But I've got to say, I'm watching behind as well at 3rd and 4th place, the battle for 3rd place, Adam. Simon Landemore and Roy Verveka have absolutely been going at it hammer and tongs, but the leader's coming up now to De La Roggia again, but Jamie Ayres can't make the move on Steve Hefford. But as I said, it's a 3-way battle now between Simon Landemore, Roy Verveka and Lee Deemer for 3rd place. There's a huge accident there. Is that Deemer that's just went off? No, I think that was Roy Verveka there.
Oh, and there's contact in the background as well. We've got cars spun around. That's Ryan Holmes. We've got Colin Robinson. So problems for those guys. And who was that you were saying there? It was Roy Ververke. He's now in 5th place still, but it was all kicking off there. And that was a
huge moment there for Ash Sutton as well, who was squirreling his way on the entry to the corner there. He just absolutely fishtailed out and about, and this is all kicking off here. Sutton making a move to the inside here.
Well, that's very close, isn't it? Oh, Beard hits him and Sutton sideways and takes off Chapelevsky with him. They'll come back on. They shouldn't have too much damage. That's a bad rejoin there. And off is Sutton. Sutton's off again. And off is also Jason Flood. And they're facing the pack. They all go this way and that's off into the wall goes Lauritsen. That is not what we wanted there. And there were all sorts of cars getting involved.
That was absolutely massive. What happened there was Sutton was still had his nose onto the track, caught Andy Shield, number 100 there, and Shield just went absolutely catapulting off into the barrier there. And I'm wondering if Sutton had some damage on him before that, because he was not in a good way with that car. We've seen Sutton can be very, very aggressive in his driving style, and I've got to say that led to a whole heap of issues that did not have to have happened there.
Yeah, and it was the contact going into the Ascari chicane. Sutton and Chapelevsky avoiding action. They got back onto the track and Sutton was off again on the exit of Ascari. Meanwhile, Matt Webb and Simon Landemore, they're continuing on their way. Ash Beard also there as well. It was the contact between Beard and Sutton that initiated all of that. Going into the Ascari chicane, Ash Beard has survived though, and it's up in 6th place, up the inside of Matt Webb. He's going to go though, or he brakes slightly earlier though, and that's going to allow Lewis Bibby around the outside. So Bibby out through, and Bibby is now into 6th place with Roy Ververke also in the mix there. And a few slowdowns there, I think, Dave. A few cars going slow on the exit. Lewis Bibby having to let a few positions back through.
Yeah, and that's the car of Diogo Melro going out wide into the gravel there. We've seen him having a pretty rubbish 2 races here. He's trying to make his way back up, but this little pack here is certainly giving out big drama right now of Beard, Verveke, Webb, Bibby, Chapelevsky in the mix there, as well as is Diogo Melro.
Yeah, going into the Ascari chicane, this is where all the contacts was a lap ago. Bibby trying to get in the mix with Nathan Davis. Davis now up in 10th place, a gain of 18 spots for him. Some other big movers. Stuart McFadden up 22 spots. So definitely a good Hogmanay there going for Nathan Davis. Well, sort of Hogmanay was yesterday, but who cares really. Going into the Ascari chicane, the Parabolica hairpin, sorry, and setting Chapelevsky under pressure from Simon Landemore. The 2 leaders though have broken away from everyone else. It is Steve Hefford versus Jamie Ayres as we start lap 5 of the race. Got past the halfway mark now. Jamie Ayres and Steve Hefford really forging away forward, and Dave, I don't think they're going to be caught because Lee Deemer in third and Chapelevsky and Beard and all the guys behind, they're just too far away to get any of that slipstream to close up to them.
Yeah, and we've, especially since we've seen Ash Sutton just rejoin onto the field here, but it's a curious battle developing between Jamie Ayres and Steve Hefford here as they go through the Curva Grande here, and I'm wondering if there is a little bit of mind games going on by Jamie Ayres, because he's been right on the back of Hefford all through this race, and he's just sitting back now. It's going to be very interesting to see how this one pans out in the last couple of laps. But looking back at Ash Sutton's car, that thing is not looking balanced properly at all. I'm wondering if there's been some unfixable damage on that car.
Yeah, Ash Sutton, whereabouts is he? He is in 35th place. He's a lap down, so he will still get some points, but not what he wanted there. Side by side here between Nathan Davis and Simon Landemore. Davis round the outside, Melro hits the back of Landemore, and that's going to allow Lewis Bibby the opportunity to get both of them here going into the Variante Ascari chicane. Bibby will go around the outside. He might be able to get Melro, but it's going to be tough to get. Landemore edging him. There's not enough road there. He's trying to cover off attacks from both sides. It's Simon Landemore. Bibby around the outside. Melro up the inside. Bibby gets it done. Fantastic move around the outside there. And Landemore is going to hold off Melro for now. But Lewis Bibby, Davey, was pushed out wide by Landemore, but he held his own and was able to get around the outside. And now he's up to 9th place.
Yeah, that was a really strong battle of the wills there between Landemore, Melro and Lewis Bibby, as you said, going round the outside, and it looks like the side-by-side between number 55 and 84, that's Landemore and Melro, they're still going at it. Melro takes the place, but Landemore is desperate to try and hold on to that one. It's going to be super tight in these last closing laps.
Simon Landemore down to 11th place now. Matt Webb and Lee Diemer going side by side. That's Diemer losing another place. He just lost one to Stalin Chepelevsky, so the podium dream might be over for Lee Diemer, and Lash Beard might be able to get a position off him as well. Their two teammates going at it there, going into the Curva Grande at the start of lap 6, 3 laps to go, and Beard goes around the outside. Kip Stevens also battling away with Stuart McFadden, and I think that it might be Stevens through. So Stevens into 12th place, McFadden down a spot to 13th. The position changes going on all through the field here in the closing stages of the race. Stalin Chepelevsky up into the podium positions, up 17 spots. He's getting plenty of overtakes done here today. 21 done in race 1, 17 again here in race 2. He's definitely making his mark, is Stalin Chepelevsky. Third in the championship going into this race meeting as Diogo Melro goes wide on the exit of the first Lesmos. And it's all pretty close here in the battle for third on the podium. But once again, as we were saying, Dave, Jamie Ayres and Steve Hefford, be interesting to see what's going on there, as Jamie Ayres is losing quite a bit of ground now because the gap's gone up to 1 second. I don't know what happened on that second half of the lap.
Yeah, I think it's just the tyres are starting to get away from Jamie Ayres. Hefford's definitely settled into his groove there, and as they come down towards the Parabolica, I think Hefford really has this race to lose right now. He's been incredibly strong, incredibly smooth. Jamie Ayres there taking it a little bit too early a line into Parabolica. That's where he's losing the speed, and I think now Hefford's out of touch.
Nice battle here between McFadden and Stevens. They also have Steve Walker for company. Bit of contact there between Stevens and McFadden on the exit. That is McFadden now up into 12th place, a gain of 22 spots for him. Kip Stevens down 1 to 13th. However, he's still been able to gain 5 spots during the race. And now Melro v Lewis Bibby down the front straight onto lap 7, the penultimate lap. These two are squabbling over position, and look at the speed they're gaining on Nathan Davis in front of them. They might be able to swamp the Apex Racing car, who's struggling badly down this front straight. Oh, where do they go? And gone is Bibby, but he's back again. Bibby around the outside of Melro. He's having a bit of issues there with his internet connection as Lewis Bibby, but he's now back up the inside of Nathan Davis. We'll see if he can make the corner. If he's there, he is back now at the inside. And for Nathan Davis, where do you go really? He doesn't know where Lewis Bibby is, and that's just the problems of Racing Online Day.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and it does look like Lewis Bibby having some severe problems there. He's going to get caught up by the group of Melro, Landemore and McFadden. But it's going to be an absolute crackerjack of a finish here, and what a job Nathan Davis is doing of holding off Diogo Melro. But I tell you what, Adam, that's not a driver I want to be holding up behind me, because he is very, very impatient. Yeah,
Diogo Melro, a 2-time Club Series champion. Now, of course, the BSR Kia Cup Series, which will be starting on Saturday here on Apex Racing TV. Melro around the outside of Davis. Davis, who could be nursing home a damaged car, is struggling massively on the straights on the last lap. And as Diogo Melro now through into 8th place. In front of them, Roy Verke and Lee Diemer battling away. This is over 6th and 7th. Diemer looking
and
to the
Landemore's
inside.
just lost it going into the corner there, into the chicane. Landemore's goes sideways and goes head first into the barrier.
Oh, so that poor Landemore, that could be over for him. We've had a change of the lead, believe it or not. It was 1 second a lap ago. Now, as we start the final lap of the race, it is Steve Hefford versus Jamie Ayres for the lead. Maybe you were saving the tyres for this final lap assault. At the line, it was Steve Hefford by 1,000th of a second. Be interesting to see if we can have that when we get back to the line. He has the lead back for now. Gain of 2 spots for him throughout the race, but now here comes Jamie Ayres back up the inside, the pole sitter into turn 1, into Curva Grande, and he has it, but Hefford's going to go back round the outside, and now it's going to be all about who has the power on the brakes. Hefford's getting a bit of tow there, just heading back into the slipstream of Jamie Ayres. Not going for it just yet though, Dave, so he's probably hoping he can get the position back later in the lap.
Yeah, but it's also going to be interesting to see how Hefford's tyres are doing. If Jamie Ayres has pulled a masterstroke there and just been easing off the tyres a little bit, we did say that he was not being as aggressive as we'd seen him previously in the race, and Hefford does look very, very anxious. Wide onto the gravel there. Hefford is really trying to push this car. This is a masterstroke from Ayres. Let Hefford push, and it could be that Hefford pushes himself out the running.
Of course, afternoon conditions here, 27 degrees. Hefford up the inside then, into Ascari for the final time. Hefford to the lead, but he will now be under pressure because Ayres will get the better run through this Ascari chicane. Now we're going to have a straight run to the Parabolica. Ayres gets a fantastic run on the exit. Hopefully he hasn't got a slowdown. I hope he's just pulling to the outside, but side by side, 2 by 2 down the straight. Who is going to get the win here in the second race of the day at Monza? Who's going to be latest on the brakes? That's probably going to be the more important question. Ayres has the lead, but Hefford's later on the brakes. Up the inside he goes. Is there going to be a switch back here on the final part to the run, on the run to the line? Hefford looks like he might have the lead. Ayres, is he going to get any toe at all?
He's trying to take the slipstream. He's got it. They're side by side now, but I don't think it's going to be enough to take it from Hefford. But there it is. Can he do it?
Oh, we've been past the
He
line,
does.
I think the line was back there, Dave. Steve Hefford has taken the win. 47 thousandths of a second at the line. And it was a win for Steve Hefford, just Jamie Ayres, very close. Stelian Chepolevsky gets third in the end ahead of Matt Webb. Those two were separated by 2 thousandths of a second. Even closer there in the battle for the final spot on the podium. Fantastic job by those guys and everyone else coming across the line now. Simon Landemore comes across the line. Stuart McFadden, he's dropping down the order. I don't know why, but he's already crossed the line, so nothing to worry about there. Max Wright coming across the line now in that police livery. Over the line he goes. He'll just be ahead of who was that he was in front of? Kevin Woods. Wow, what a run to the line there. And Steve Hefford, he was able to time the move up the inside brilliantly and was able to just hold off Jamie Ayres on the run to the flag, Dave.
Yeah, that was an absolute belter of a finish there, Adam. Really thought that Jamie was going to be able to take that back there. There's so many lines here at Monza for the start and finish straight, and it's obviously when you've seen it there and you're just like, come on, you can do it. It didn't happen though, but what an absolutely fantastic race. Not just for them though, not just for Hefford and Ayres, but Chepolevsky getting a fantastic third place there.
Yeah, gain of 17 spots for him at the end for Stelian Chepolevsky. Fantastic job there. And David White, who finished in 13th place, up 23 spots from where he started. That's another big mover there. And we're running through the finishing order. Steve Hefford takes the win then by 47 thousandths of a second. Started in third place but was able to take the win in the end. Jamie Ayres finishing in second place. Stelian Chepolevsky 20th to 3rd. Matt Webb finishing in 4th after starting in 19th. Those two working through the field together, similar to race 1 where Chepolevsky worked through the field with Dan Hunt. Ash Beard will be slightly sheepish after that race, I presume, with that contact with Ash Sutton, which caused all sorts of problems in Ascari. He finished in 5th. Lee Deemer in 6th. 7th, Roy Ververke. 8th, Lewis Bibby. 9th, Diogo Melro. And 10th, Kip Stevens. Stuart McFadden finished in 11th. 12th for Dan Hunt. Dave White 35th to 13th. Steve Walker finishing in 14th. Brian Holmes finishing in 15th place after starting in 29th. Gavin Wakefield 16th. Nathan Davis in that Apex car in the end fell down the order to 17th, however starting in 28th place. A good gain of spots for him. Simon Landemore started 5th though, finished 18th, had issues towards the end. Joe McDonald 19th and 20th for Colin Robinson. Max Wright in 21st. Kevin Woods, he did appear in the end. I think he actually started from the pit lane due to the fact he didn't take the start and was able to get a 22nd spot at the end, so not too bad. Lee Balmer finishing in 23rd. Dexter Cutts in 24th. Steve Richardson, who was up in the mix at the start of the race but was involved in contact, finished in 25th. Rob Hartley, second in race 1, 26th in race 2. Lorne Murray, 27th. 28th for Andy Shield, who was around in the contact at Ascari. Laura Bond was involved in that bit of contact with Peter van Gool at the start of the race. She managed to recover and finish in 29th. Forstein Helgeson started the race this time and managed to finish in 30th. Ash Sutton 1 lap down in 31st. Jason Flood also 1 lap down, along with Michael Barry, Cesare Rizzo, Andy Brozens and Peter van Gool 2 laps down in the end after the contact he sustained in that crash with Laura Bond. Well, we've still got one more race to go here at Monza. Late afternoon conditions for race 3, so slightly cooler track temperatures and ambient temperatures. And we're about to get the reverse grid done then. So we'll get the wheel up on screen. Samuli Kumo for the final time tonight. We'll spin the wheel. And let's see if we can top 25. Let's see if we can get any bigger than that for the final race of the day. Wheel is spinning. And we get 29, so we've got an even bigger reverse grid for the final race of the day. And it puts Laura Bond onto pole position, so she'll be pretty happy with that. Andy Shield will also be back towards the front end of the grid. He starts in second. Lorne Murray in third. Rob Hartley will also be back at the front after the damage he sustained in race 2. And Steve Richardson starting in 5th, so we've got all the makings of a good race, Dave.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, that is definitely going to be a spanner into the works, Adam, and it's always nice to see a nice big number. So 29, that really shakes things up again, and it's going to be more of the same. We're going to see a lot of the faster guys towards the back of the field. Ash Sutton has got a lot to prove now in this third race. I think we'll see a stellar drive from him. But yeah, that's really didn't work out for him in that second race.
Oh, we're going to take a break here on Apex Racing TV and get ourselves set for the third race. Join me, join Dave, and join Sam after a break. Where we're going to be in for something pretty intriguing. Race 3 of the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup is up after the break.
iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
It's the final race of the day here at Monza in the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup Series, and after two brilliant races we're expecting more of the same for the final time tonight. Adam Bath here with Dave, Christie and Sam Kumo again on the cameras. and we hope you've been enjoying the action tonight. Well, day of a 29 car reverse grid. It's even bigger than the one we had before, and yeah, it's different types of conditions for race 3. Very cool here at Monza, 18 degrees, so we've got all the ingredients we need for a fantastic race 3.
Oh yes, indeed, and we saw some of the tempers flaring up during race 2 there, Adam. I think that is going to make for a very, very interesting final race here at Monza. The cars are on track at the moment, getting some last minute practice in as we speak. But some big talking points from race 2. Ash Sutton in a whole world of trouble there, and some incredible performances as well. We saw Simon Landemore doing a fairly decent job up until the end there, where he got himself in a whole world of trouble going in towards the Lesmo there. But yeah, it's a really nice race too. Race 3, 29 car reverse grids. It's all going to kick off.
Brian Holmes was able to take the win in race 3 at Spa last time around. I don't think he'll be able to replicate that here. But some big names are back at the front. We've got Rob Hartley starting near the front again. We've got Andy Shield, who was involved in the contact at the end of the Ascari chicane with Ash Sutton. He'll be starting towards the front again. So we'll be hopefully seeing them work their way to the front. Plus we've got, of course, the likes of Ash Sutton, who will be starting in about 35th on back. And we'll see how many spots he's able to get. And wouldn't put it past him gaining upwards of 20 by the end of the race. He's just got to make sure that he keeps it clean, Dave. And unfortunately, that's what happened to him in race 2.
Yeah, I think temper got the better of him in that last race, Adam. The thing is this isn't Spa. He can make a heck of a lot of places up, but not to the same extent, because the cars are quite fast round here, and at the very most you're seeing a spread of around about maybe 3-4 seconds, but my eyes are instantly getting drawn to Hartley in warm-up here, who has done a 2:01.261. Now that is about a second faster than anybody in practice and qualifying so far today, so I'm wondering if the track conditions are going to lend themselves to some very fast racing.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen. Yeah, Rob Hartley, 2 minutes 2. He was setting in practice, and that was the fastest practice time we had. And 2:01.261, the fastest time we've had set all day today. Well, let's run you down. Let's run you through the grid. Rob Hartley starting not on pole position, because that is the responsibility of Laura Bond. Andy Shield starting in 2nd, Laura Murray in 3rd, 4th is Rob Hartley, 5th Steve Richardson, Dexter Cuts in 6th, Barmer in 7th, 8th Kevin Woods, 9th Max Wright, and 10th is Colin Robinson. 11th is Joe McDonald, 12th is Simon Landemore, Nathan Davis in 13th, Gavin Wakefield 14th, 15th is Brian Holmes, the race 3 winner at Spa 2 weeks ago, 16th for Steve Walker, Dave White 17th, Dan Hunt 18th, 19th Stuart McFadden, 20th Kip Stevens, and some big names to point out: Stelian Chepelevsky starting in 28th place, Ash Sutton starting in 31st. Good to watch their progress through the race. Finally, Dave, before we go down to the grid, can you quickly pick a winner?
Oh, so many good cars in there, but I think McFadden's going to be in for a strong race, but Hartley, I think, has shown some stunning pace there. My money's on Hartley.
Here we go, then we're about to find out. Lights are on. Race 3 of the Mazda MX-5 Cup here at Monza is underway. Laura Bond gets a good jump away from the line and should be able to maintain her first position, but straight away the slipstreaming will be in effect, and she'll be under pressure from Andy Shield, who will have Rob Hartley for company, and you're going to have to bet hard against them not having first and second by the time we come through to the Della Roggia. On our way to Curva Grande then, they're already forging a path through our Shield and Hartley. And Shield has the lead. Laura Bond's not going to give up though. and we could be free wide here on the way to the Roger. This could be interesting. Bond on the inside, Hartley playing it safe, just hanging back here, and Apex car is definitely on the move as we hit the brakes. Car 6, that's Nathan Davis. Oh, I hear contacts, and off goes Shield. Shield and Hartley, I said they were going to work together. Well, that definitely didn't happen, and Shield has been hit into the wall, and all the cars have to scatter this way and that. Kip Stevens has a slowdown penalty, but Andy Shield, we spoke before the start of the race, Dave, about how it was good to see him back up at the front. That didn't last too long, and now he's facing the wrong way in about 30-something place.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. I think what happened there is Hartley just went into that corner too hot, and indeed it looks like Hartley pulling back there, just couldn't drop down, and yeah, Hartley dropping all the way back.
Yeah, Rob Hartley, sorry, looks like he's picked up a slowdown penalty, so instant karma possibly there, and I think there's been a crash. Oh, it's all kicking off here. Lee Deemer, we've got Andy Brozens, we've got Andy Shield again. Oh dear, it's just not going right at all in race 3 for Andy Shield, and Kevin Woods and Roy Ververke, just to name a few as well, all getting involved in contact down under the bridge. And Dave, it's just so narrow there that you all get funneled into the scene of the accident.
Yeah, that's it's we saw that there as Hartley was being very, very slow. Some of the drivers saw that happening and had to move out the way at the last second, and of course one of the drivers almost going straight into the back there of Hartley. But as you said, I mean, it's once one driver goes off, if you're following them and using them for your braking reference point, it's very, very easy just to follow them off and do an exact duplicate of what they've just done.
Over the line then, first lap in the book. Stallion Shepelevsky already got 15 positions. And up down Ash Sutton, I don't think he's gained any positions. No, I don't even think he took the start either. If he did, he might have been involved in a bit of contact. But yeah, through the Curva Grande we go at the start of lap 2. Shepelevsky up to what is now 12th place. Could be about to get a position off Brian Holmes here, looking up the inside.
Oh, Bond's gone! Bond's lost it into the chicane on the brakes. I heard the squeal as the brakes are going on the entry to the chicane. She locked up, went straight on, off into the gravel trap, managed to recover, but that is going to be Laura Bond all the way down into 5th place, surely.
Oh, Laura Bond, who had started on the pole position, now down to 5th. It's all kicking off behind them, though. Stallion Shepelevsky trying to get past Simon Landemore. He's been able to get past Brian Holmes, and now Shepelevsky trying to get past Simon Landemore as we head down the straight towards the Ascari chicane. Just in front of them, Steve Richardson is going side by side, and Laura Bond and Lorne Murray change of position there. That's Lorne Murray through, Laura Bond losing another place. Stallion Shepelevsky has got past Simon Landemore. Landemore might go back up the inside, and he does. Shepelevsky just shoves the door back in his face, and Sheppy is through into 9th position, and Diogo Melro wants some of that action as well as he gets a good run off the back of the Ascari chicane, so that could be a 10th place for him going towards the Parabolica. So loads of position changes here in this big gaggle of cars. Dan Hunt getting past Steve Richardson just in front of those guys, so that's Dan Hunt up the inside. That will be 7th place for him, and he's up the inside and through. And now Joe McDonald and David White are having a battle, and David White, who apparently does race with a virtual reality headset, and was the car that we saw just in an eternal barrel roll earlier in the day, up inside the top 15 here, and now going 3 wide and possibly 4 wide down the straight, Dave.
Yep, and Dexter Cuts as well, making a move on Nathan Davis for the lead. Can he make it stick? He does. They go into Curva Grande. Dexter Cuts, number 18, is going to be your new leader, and a huge accident there. Big amount of smoke there, and Nathan Davis on the inside of Curva Grande trying to take the place back from number 18. Dexter Cuts can't make it happen, but they're going towards Della Rogia. What is going to happen there? Nathan moves to the inside there, tries to go late on the brakes, but isn't having any of it at all. Dexter Cuts is your new race leader then as they go towards the second half of the race.
Dexter Cuts in that Skittles livery car. He's been bowling the field down on his way to the front. That's a bad pun, I'm so sorry. But yeah, he has the lead there. And 3 wide, Dan Hunt and Diogo Melro. I think Dan Hunt had a slowdown penalty, and Melro's been able to get by. Car out all over the place. That's Landemore. He's going to come back on, hopefully rejoining safely just in front of David White. and it's all sorts of chaos here in this gaggle. Dexter Cuts and Nathan Davis at it again. They're side by side for the race lead. Nathan Davis, Apex Racing car versus Dexter Cuts. Into the Variante Ascari, round the outside goes Davis, and he should have the lead, but look at this momentum they've lost, and now here comes Max Wright onto the scene.
Yeah, that was a big closing speed there from Max right there. He's definitely in the pound seats right now because Nathan Davis and Dexter Cuts are fighting out between them. It's side by side as they come down towards the Parabolica. Dexter Cuts may be a way to lose the place to Max Wright. It's the battle of the last late breakers here, but Dexter Cuts easily moves into the Parabolica there, but Max Wright is going to have the inside line coming through here, and this is going to be very interesting indeed. Dexter Cuts is going to make a move. He's got the toe from Nathan Davis in the lead, but it could be Max Wright away to take the lead here as they come up to the Curva Grande. Too wide.
Yeah, Dexter Cuts doesn't know who to go with. Here he was behind Davis, he was behind Wright, and now he's forging a path through the middle, and this is going to allow Laura Bond and Lorne Murray to close in. Through the middle goes Dexter Cuts, and he has the lead again here. So Dexter Cuts back to the lead going into Curva Grande, and he is through, but Nathan Davis won't give up just yet and could fancy his chances going back up the inside into the Della Roggia. Dan Hunt and Diogo Melro also knocking spots off each other just in the background, but Cuts holding on, and he just is clear of Nathan Davis. So to the lead goes Dexter Cuts. Dan Hunt under pressure from Chepalevsky now. Hunt, oh no! Contact made between the two of them. They've been inseparable the last few races, in race 1 in particular. Dan Hunt and Sterling Chepalevsky making contact in a Della Roggia, and Chepalevsky just getting knocked back a few positions. Down to 9th goes Cheppy. Dan Hunt now under pressure from Diogo Melro, who's looking up the inside into the second Lesmo. And as Dave was saying earlier, Melro is a bit impatient and he's already going for it as we head towards Ascari, Dave.
Yeah, it is absolute mayhem all through the field here. I'm watching the first set of 5 cars, you're watching the second set of God knows how many cars are in that group there, because all I can see is a blur of wheels and paint jobs there. Absolute craziness, but Dexter Cuts still your race leader here at Monza, but not for the want of trying. And Nathan Davis as they come down towards the Parabolica. Nathan Davis side by side with Dexter Cuts there, and it looks like Nathan Davis is going to have the inside line. Max Wright tucking in behind Nathan as well. Nathan Davis takes the lead again, but it's just going backwards and forwards all through the lap here. Nathan Davis and Dexter Cuts are going to be side by side, going along surfing straight there, because Dexter Cuts gets the drag, gets the toe again, and again they come across the line side by side, Adam.
And we haven't even got to half race distance yet. We're just on lap 5, we've just gone past it. Dexter Cuts leading the way, but how much longer? Max Wright is just by Laura Bond, so Bond on the back in the mix here, possibly 3 wide as Dexter Cuts has a little bit of a blinking there moment in his Mazda MX-5. Laura Bond forging a path round the outside. Nathan Davis now getting stuck on the outside there and doesn't know where to go because Dexter Cuts is blinking in and out constantly now, hard on the brakes into the Della Roggia, and Dexter Cuts continues to hold the lead for now, but it's that second half of the lap where Nathan Davis really turns it on, and he's turning it on straight away. Up the inside he goes into the into Lesmo 1, got the lead back, and they're slowing each other up so much once again that Laura Bond is closing in along with Max Wright and Lorne Murray. Max Wright in that police livery car, they'll be hoping to arrest the competition with a win possibly in the final 3.5 laps of the race. It's 2017, I'm getting them out of the way already, but here he comes.
Please.
Oh, here he comes then up the inside. Oh, not close enough just yet, but Dexter Cuts having a little look back up the inside on Nathan Davis, but no way through there. And when we get to the line, we'll be on lap 6 of the race, so 3 laps to go when we get to the line. Look, Rob Hartley now leading this second train along. Dan Hunt, oh, he's all sorts of all over the place. There he's off. Oh, he's wrestling the car, but he's able to save it. I thought that was what was going to happen to Laura Bond earlier, but yeah, Dan Hunt able to continue, but further up in front, it's Cuts versus Davis again.
Yep, and Davis takes the lead again as they go into the Curva Grande here. It has been the battle of Davis versus Cuts all through the race here, and in fact that was a parabolica because they're going to cross the start-finish line just now, and it's all behind them as well. Laura Bond weaving about desperately trying to keep Max Wright and Lauren Murray behind her. And as you said, Hartley doing his best to try and keep out of harm's way there. But they're going to come up to Curva Grande. They're side by side between Nathan Davis and Dexter. Cuts here. Davis is going to have the inside line going into Curva Grande. It's number 6 versus number 18. And it's going to be advantage Davis. But Cuts is going to have the inside line going into De La Roja.
What a race this is by Dexter Cuts. Could be going back up the inside here. He's late on the brakes. Davis will try and turn in. He's turning in. He's going to get hit. And he's off. And
big
Dexter
contact.
Cuts leads. Max Wright up the inside, and he might take the lead away from both of them there. Oh, and Davis is around again when trying to get the car going again. Oh dear me, it's just not going Nathan Davis's way today. Was off in Curva Grande quite a few times. As up the inside goes Cuts into the second Lesmo. He's going to take the lead away from Max Wright now, and this has split things up just a little bit. We've got Max Wright and Dexter Cuts going at it for the lead. Laura Bond is still there in third along with Lauren Murray.
Oh. And Davis is causing more mayhem now. Even further down the field, he's off again.
Oh, no.
And Davis is really, really having a horrible, horrible third race here. I feel so sorry for him. Getting rudely escorted from the course by Dexter Cuts. And indeed, Nathan Davis retires to the pit lane. I think that's the last we're going to see of him.
I don't know whether there was broken steering, but he turned into the first of the Lesmos and there was just nothing there at all, and around the Apex Racing car it went, and yeah, he's now back in the pit lane. So poor Nathan Davis, problems for him. Change for third place, Laura Murray and Laura Bond just exchange spots there. That's Laura Murray now into third position. We get to the line where we're starting the penultimate lap of the race in falling conditions here at Monza in the Mazda MX-5s. Now Dexter Cuts is going to get the run on Max Wright. He's blinking just a little bit there, but he's going to move to the inside line. Across the line they go. Penultimate lap begins. The gap between them was 59 thousandths of a second. And Dexter Cuts is just edging ahead. And whoa, oh no, here comes Lauren Murray through the middle. I thought he was going to try and bump draft Dexter Cuts, but a run out of nowhere. And Lauren Murray somehow has got the lead going into Curva Grande on the penultimate lap day.
Wow, what is going to happen here?
Oh,
Lauren Murray shuts the door and moves him out with force.
Oh no!
Oh, and it's all gone. Max Wright's gone. Takes out Dex Cuts as well. Wow, big drama there. Lauren Murray being absolutely unfeasible there, squeezing Dexter Cuts out onto the grass there. Dexter had nowhere to go, lost it, hit into Max Wright, took both of them off, and it's game over for Dexter Cuts. And you've got to say, given what happened on that previous lap there between him and Nathan Davis, I don't know, I think that's maybe a little bit of justice. You've got to think for Nathan Davis there that both him and Dex are out.
Oh, and Rob Hartley now leads. Somehow he's got through to this lead battle, and he's taken the lead. Absolutely unbelievable. I thought it was way back, but Rob Hartley is leading the race here. Just trying to scroll back through the replay to see how on earth he gained the positions. It was probably because Lauren Murray was so slow, trying to avoid all the spinning cars that were going on around him. But Rob Hartley leads. Dan Hunt's in second. So it looks like the battle for the lead is going to be between these two when we start the final lap of the race. Both of them have got relatively damaged cars. Hartley leading the way. Hunt now second. Lauren Murray and Laura Bond are still in third and fourth. So they had gained 2 positions. They've immediately lost them. And now Diogo Melro and Stelian Chepalevsky are going side by side down the straight towards the Parabolica. Wow, dramatic circumstances here at Spa. We lost Dexter Cuts. He's now in the pits. Max Wright has got going again, I believe. He is somewhere. But yeah, here comes the lead duo over the line to start the final lap of the race. It was what was the gap between them? It was 8 tenths of a second between Hartley and Hunt. That's going to be tough for Dan to make up, but the slipstream is so good around here. Plus, it's these sort of conditions that the Mazda MX-5 thrives in. So expect that gap to come down possibly by the time we get to the Curva Grande. 6 tenths of a second it's gone down to. And Max Wright, he's in 13th place, so he hasn't lost too much ground. But on the final lap of the race then, half a second between Rob Hartley and Dan Hunt. Is this going to be enough for Hartley to take the win? He's been fast all through tonight. Fastest in practice, was on the front row of the grid for race 1 of the day. Got second place just behind Ash Sutton, and now he's in the lead in race 3 of the day and could be about to take the win unless Dan Hunt is able to get it. I think Dan Hunt might have had a bit of brush with the wall there going on the entry.
I think Dan's just pushing so hard at him. I think that's what it is. And a big moment there for Hartley. Loses the back end of it. That's going to bring Dan Hunt right into it with about 4 corners left to go in the race here.
How interesting this is going to be. 0.6 of a second. I think Hartley might just have enough in reserve to hold on to take his first win of the season. Into the Escorial chicane we go. Is he going to be able to hold on to it through here? Hunt's got a fantastic run. He's halving the gap. The gap is down to 0.4 of a second. It's gone back up to half a second. Rob Hartley moving all over the place to just try and disturb the slipstream. This could be a last-ditch attempt to get the lead for Dan Hunt. The gap's closing. It's 0.3 of a second. But I think he's just too far back to get a move done. It might be a run to the line. It could be a photo finish.
He's gone! Dan Hunt has blown his engine on the entry to the parabolic at the last corner. Surely he's going to have enough speed to get that car over the line, we hope. But oh my goodness me, of the cruelest places for that engine to blow. That Mazda power unit is just gone.
He will make it just, Dave. Rob Hartley takes the win. Lorne Murray second. Laura Bond gets a podium. Stalin Chepelevsky gets 4th. But where's Dan Hunt going to get? He's struggling. The line is there. Is he going to make it across? He should do. He's at 30 kilometers per hour. He's weaving this way and that to just save the car. And he comes across the line in what will be 13th place. Dan Hunt blowing the car on the downshift into the Parabolica. Well, Rob Hartley taking the win in the end by 2.7 seconds. Dear me. What a final race, though.
That just absolutely exceeded anything that I've ever seen before. Oh my goodness me. Every single lap there was drama kicking off. There was little battles going on, and I just cannot believe that Dan blew that engine into the final turn.
He was definitely pushing there, and what a way to start 2017 here on Apex Racing TV. A fantastic IMSA race earlier on at Imola, backing him up with 3 fantastic races, and what an enthralling race that was here. Pulsating race here at Monza. Let's run you through the finishing order then. Rob Hartley takes the win, 2.7 seconds ahead of Lorne Murray in the end. Laura Bond's got a podium with Stalin Chepelevsky going from 27th to 4th. Dear me, how many overtakes he must have done today. 20 spots gained in race 1, a similar amount gained in race 2, and 23 again in race 3. Diogo Melro finishing 5th in the end with Matt Webb in 6th. 7th for Ash Beers, 8th Steve Heffer, David White finishing in 9th in the end, and Colin Robinson rounding out the top 10 after starting in 10th. Gavin Wakefield in 11th place, Joe McDonald finishing in 12th. Dan Hunt blowing that engine on the run into the Parabolica, limping across the line in 13th place. He just had enough speed in the car to get there. Max Wright off after that collision with Dexter Cutts. With just a few laps to go after it looked like those guys were going to be in with a shot of the win. He finished in 14th place. Steve Richardson in 15th. Jamie Ayres finishing in 16th place with Simon Landemore in 17th. 18th for Cesario Rizzo. Peter Van Gool, after starting at the back of the grid after being involved in the crash in Ascari in race 2, he finished in 19th with Stuart McFadden finishing in 20th. Brian Holmes finishing in 21st place. Andy Shield started on the front row but finished in 22nd place after getting turned around by Rob Hartley on lap 1 of the race. And Lee Barmer finishing in 23rd, Roy Verke 24th. There is Dexter Cutts. He finished in 25th place in the end, had to tow back to the pits, but got a fresh car and still managed to finish on the lead lap. But he could have won his first race in the Mazda MX-5s. Kip Stevens finishing in 26th, Lee Deemer finishing in 27th, Kevin Woods 28th, then Andy Brozens finishing in 29th, and then the cars 1 lap down or more. We had Michael Barry 1 lap down, Jason Flood a lap down, Nathan Davis 2 laps down after the contact in Della Roggia with Dexter Cutts. and it looked like it had done terminal damage to him. He just couldn't get the car pointing in a straight line afterwards. Forstein Helgeson finishing 33rd, 4 laps down. Steve Walker 7 laps down. Ash Sutton 7 laps down as well. I think he was involved in contact on the opening lap in that huge crash we saw going into Ascari. And Lewis Bibby 8 laps down, rounding out the finishing order of the race. Well, what a start to the season it's been. We had 3 fantastic races at Spa, Dave, but I think we might have just been able to have topped that here at Monza tonight.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's what I was about to say there. But you did ask me for a winner at the start of the race, and I did say it was going to be Hartley, so I'm quite happy with that one. But
yeah,
yeah,
what in the future.
What a cracking race that third one was, though. I mean, it was just wall-to-wall action from the get-go. I think the stewards are going to be very, very busy after this weekend, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the repercussions are going to be.
There's going to be repercussions, definitely, for some. Looking on the calendar, it did say, to be fair, that we would be at Watkins Glen today, so I'm taking this with a pinch of salt. It says next week we're going to be at the Nürburgring. But we'll see where we get sent. Yeah, should be interesting. Watkins Glen or the Nürburgring, both tracks will be interesting. At Watkins Glen we'll have plenty of slipstreaming there, especially on the classic boots layout. And if it's the Nürburgring, big Grand Prix circuit, plenty of action there as well. Well, we can remind you of the events coming up on Apex Racing TV over the next week or so. We have got the BSRTC, the Winter Series continues there. This Thursday, usual time, 8:15 here on Apex Racing TV. Then on Saturday, we have got the return of the Road Pro Series. We're heading on our way towards the final few races of the season there, and 10 iRacing World Championship licenses are up for grabs. A reminder, that will be on iRacing's channel, but myself, Andrew Woodhouse and Alex Simpson will all be there to cover the action. Also on Saturday night, we have got the first race meeting of the Unified Club and World Series, now known as the BSR Kia Cup Series, on Apex Racing TV. That'll be interesting to watch. Similar times for that. And I've been told that the Pro Series will be on the Apex TV YouTube this week. I think that's because of Alex Simpson being off in Las Vegas. And yeah, the BSR Kia Cup will be on Saturday. And then Sunday, yeah, we've got the Impster Series. Late afternoon, 4:45, and of course we've got this, the Mazda MX-5 series, where me and Dave once again be calling the action from either Watkins Glen or the Nürburgring. And yeah, I can't wait for the next race meeting. So my thanks to Dave Christie for joining me in the commentary box for 3 fantastic races again here in the BSRHub.com Mazda MX-5 Cup Series, and thanks to Samuli Kumo for being on the cameras as well. A lot of action to cover, and I bet Sam was on his toes throughout all of that. And of course, thanks for doing the reverse grid as well. Well, congratulations to our 3 winners. They definitely were hard-earned results. Ash Sutton taking the win in race 1, Steve Hefford in race 2, and Rob Hartley there in race 3. We'll say goodnight to you from now, and a happy new year again to you all. And yeah, we'll see you at the next race meeting next Sunday. Good night.